Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to your Monday edition of NMH at 1, where we catch up on current events and headlines. My name is Aurelia Samuyenga, and thank you for joining me today. Today's news stories include the High Court ruling ordering the Namibian police to pay out 5,000 Namibian dollars to a transgender woman who was assaulted 5 years ago. Judge Essie Shiming Chase said the court found that Mercedes von Kluter was clearly wrongfully and unlawfully arrested and assaulted. Also, the tragic death of a French tourist at Sossusvlei continues to make headlines. The 54-year-old French citizen Nicolas Remondier was found dead near Sossusvlei on Friday after he had gone hiking in the area the previous morning. Here is a summary of the latest COVID-19 data for Namibia. Due to the flattening of the curve, the number of tests done daily have decreased to an average of about 1,000 per day. About 7,400 results were processed over the 7 days up to Friday, bringing the total number of tests, including samples retested, to 760,000. By Friday, the daily average of new cases dropped yet further to only 6, which is half the average of 12 cases per day reported a week before. When we get to quarantine data, you will see the same trend. Over the 7 days up to Friday, 38 cases were added to the country's cumulative total, while 83 recoveries were recorded. Active cases decreased with 46 from 177 to 131, and those who had contact with positive cases and are still being monitored from 469 to 372 individuals. The overall recovery rate remains at 97.1%. Only a single fatality was reported over the past 7 days. Upward of 282,000 people have been fully vaccinated by Friday, representing 11.3% of the population and 18.8% of the target set by the Ministry of Health and Social Services. Over the past 7 days, the number of people staying in approved quarantine facilities also halved from 306 to 142. A total of 199 individuals entered quarantine and 373 were discharged during this period.
Season 1 of the Hunters Chill Session is coming to a close. To celebrate Hunters and the Namibian Sun, we'll be having an exclusive invite-only event at Access Lounge on the 23rd of November. You can be part of this. Stand a chance to win exclusive double tickets for you and a friend to attend the Hunters Chill Finale. WhatsApp a picture of you and your friend chilling with your favorite Hunters to 084 000 9820. Hunters, refreshes like nothing on earth. Not for persons under the age of 18. T's and C's apply.
As per usual, we bring you a number of video news clips from across the country. In our first video contribution from this morning, protesters called on the Minister of Home Affairs, Albert Kawana, President Hage Geingob, and other ministries to stop using taxpayer monies to discriminate against LGBTQ Namibians. This follows after the minister appealed to overturn a High Court decision granting citizenship to the children of Namibian Philip Lul, who is in a same-sex marriage. Jana Marie Smith compiled this clip.
We call upon Albert Kawana, the Ministry of Homophobic Affairs, during apartheid. Now we see a government telling people that they cannot love one another, they cannot start a family, they cannot have children, solely based on their gender and sexual orientation. We cannot allow for this institution to continuously carry on as if what they are doing is constitutional, because it is not. You are trying to tear families apart. You are ripping our equality and justice apart. You are ripping our constitution apart. All the institutions that have been silent on the current appeal of the ministry on the judge and the verdict of Yona citizenship status are all complicit in state-sanctioned homophobia. Shame on you, President Geingob, for being complicit, for allowing a cabinet to use our taxpayer funds to target children, to target families. What type of Namibia are we? What type of born-free nation are we that children have become collateral to the government's state-sanctioned homophobia? Shame on you, President Geingob. Shame on you, Albert Kawana. This is not the born-free republic we were promised. This is not the promise of equality that our liberators fought for. Is this what being born-free looks like? That the ministry is going to continually attack children, attack families, just because of who their fathers love, just because of how their fathers identify?
Next up, our journalist Kenya Kamboe spoke to Ambrosius Hangura, the president of the National African Students Association, about the paying of tuition and non-tuition fees of varsity students by the NSFAF.
With regards to the payment of the non-tuition and tuition fees of the NSFAF beneficiaries 2021, as a national student body, we are really concerned because, as we all know, the year is coming to an end now. Soon it's going to be a festive season. All offices closes down, including academic and financial offices. But we have it on factual ground that a number of students, if not most of students, are still to receive their non-tuition and tuition fees for the academic year 2021. This also includes students who have signed contracts with the Namibian Student Financial Assistance Fund, but such students have not yet opened their bank account. And the year group varies. The first year, second year, third year, all of them have not, most of them have not, pardon me, received their non-tuition fees. And we are concerned as to what is going to happen to these students in terms of taking care of their needs throughout the academic year.
Claudia Reiter recently visited the Museum of Namibian Music at Umthia. The museum's development is one of 4 components, which is funded by the European Union and implemented by the Museums Association of Namibia. The museum is located next to the regional library in the heart of Umthia.
Season 1 of the Hunters Chill Session is coming to a close. To celebrate Hunters and the Namibian Sun, we'll be having an exclusive invite-only event at Access Lounge on the 23rd of November. You can be part of this. Stand a chance to win exclusive double tickets for you and a friend to attend the Hunters Chill Finale. WhatsApp a picture of you and your friend chilling with your favorite Hunters to 084 000 9820. Hunters, refreshes like nothing on earth. Not for persons under the age of 18. T's and C's apply.
We apologize for that. We couldn't seem to play the previous video. Moving on, in our next section, we look at the front pages of the national daily newspapers. First up is Allgemeine Zeitung, which leads with the Health Minister, Dr. Kalumbi Shangula, announcement of the approval of coronavirus vaccination for children between the ages of 12 and 17. This measure applies in particular to young people with certain pre-existing conditions who are exposed to an increased risk of severe effects of COVID-19. With the consent of a guardian, the vaccine will be administered to Pfizer-BioNTech. The latest measures announced on Friday will come into effect tomorrow, Tuesday, and will last until December 15th. Republican summarizes the UN Climate Change Conference in Glasgow, where a new deal has been agreed by 196 nations. However, at the same time, the Namibian government was also represented at the African Energy Week in Cape Town, where oil and gas companies were formally invited to apply for petroleum exploration licenses in Namibia. The funding of political parties that have been concluded in secrecy is the topic of the Namibian's front page lead story. The newly appointed head of the Electoral Commission of Namibia, Elsie Nyikembukwa, last week promised to fully implement the provisions of the Electoral Act, which regulates the finances of political parties. New Era covers Health Minister Kalumbi Shangula concern over the decline in recent weeks of Namibians getting vaccinated, despite initiatives to increase the rate. The ministry's target is set on vaccinating at least 1.5 million people, or 60% of the population, but has not been able to reach the projected daily target of 10,000 vaccinations. Moving on to Namibian Sun, which reports the story of social workers in the Commerce region finding that their concerns over being overworked and under-resourced have fallen on deaf ears. The group of concerned social workers also claim that the government has failed dismally to adhere to the provisions of the Childcare and Protection Act, which was enacted 5 years ago and which calls for the expansion of the existing structure. And now, some of the news in the inside pages of today's newspapers. The front page of Sport Wrap leads with the weekend's women rugby test match in Windhoek, in which Zambia ran out 75-5 winners over Namibia's. The inexperienced home side match made their return in the Terminal 15-a-side rugby for the first time since 2013, but came back unstuck against a much fitter and better organized Zambian side. Market Watch reports that the tax income from Southern African Customs Union, known as SACU, remain a vital source of revenue for the Namibian economy. The country collected about 22 billion Namibian dollars from it in the last financial year. The Namibian reports on 2 road accidents that claimed the lives of 7 people last Thursday and Friday, both involving 7-seater long-distance minibuses. The Thursday accident happened on the B2 road about 35 kilometers from Karibib towards Okahanja, before the next day's fatalities collision also on the B2 road between New Sakos and Arandas. Allgemeine Zeitung shows the scenes on the corner of Samnioma and the airport road in Avis when overturned grain trucks still blocked the streets on Sunday. Some helpers stood knee-deep in the grain and the cleanup work lasted for several hours. According to witnesses, the truck overturned after the brakes failed. One passenger was hospitalized, but his condition is stable. The driver and one other passenger suffered shock, but no serious injuries. Namibian Sun was in the High Court where former city police officer Philippus Mapopi stated that he would never dare to interfere with the investigations into the Fishrot case should he be granted bail. Mapopi said he would have to borrow money to pay bail of 62,000 Namibian dollars. He has vehemently denied claims that Fishco CEO Mike Nipunya had a stake in his company, Wanakudu Investments, and said the ACC later turned hostile and angry after his initial statement. New Era reports that the bail applications of 6 of the accused in the Fishrot trial was postponed until January next year, which means they will spend another Christmas behind bars. This applies to former Justice Minister Saki Shangala, former chairman of Fishco James Haitekulupi, former CEO of Fishco Mike Nipunya, and 3 of their co-accused. And finally, Republican reports on Sunday's rugby test match at Stellenbosch, in which Namibia overcame an early onslaught by Kenya to run out convincing winners by 60 points to 24. While the two African rivals had scored 3 tries each by halftime, Namibia took complete control of every aspect of the second half to run in another 7 tries without reply. Namibia will face Zimbabwe on Saturday in the final of World Rugby Stellenbosch Challenge. Republican also reports that Wanderers Rugby Club will hand in an appeal against the NRU's ruling that they were guilty of fielding ineligible players in the league semi-finals and will contest their right to play in the final, scheduled for this coming weekend. And that is it for your Monday edition of NMH at 1. Please do stay safe and have a blessed week ahead. I will see you again at the same time, forever at the same place.